Venezuelan narco fleet attempts to escort cocaine freighter into U.S. waters. 6 armed boats protecting 1 cargo ship. $1.2 billion in cocaine. Navy moves in with overwhelming force. This is Navy Wire. March 3, 2026. 03:45 hours. Joint Interagency Task Force South receives intelligence from DEA undercover source. Venezuelan cartel planning unprecedented operation. Not smuggling cocaine in fast boats. Not using semi-submersibles. They're using actual cargo freighter. MV Caribbean Dream. 350-foot vessel. Panamanian registry. Carrying 15,000 kilograms of cocaine. Street value $1.2 billion. Heading toward U.S. waters. ETA 36 hours. But here's the unprecedented part. The freighter has escort. 6 armed boats. Venezuelan cartel vessels. Each carrying crew with automatic weapons, RPGs, heavy machine guns. Their mission, protect the freighter, fight off interdiction attempts, ensure cocaine delivery. This is narco-trafficking meets naval convoy operations. This is criminal organization operating like military force. U.S. Navy gets mission tasking immediately. Stop the freighter, seize the cocaine, arrest all personnel. But standard interdiction procedures inadequate. This isn't lone smuggling vessel. This is defended convoy. Armed resistance expected. Potentially violent confrontation. Requires military-level response with appropriate force protection and rules of engagement. Captain David Rodriguez commands USS Gravely, a Flight 2AA Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. 20 years Navy service. Combat veteran. Multiple deployments. But this mission is unusual. Navy destroyers typically don't intercept drug smugglers. That's Coast Guard mission. But armed escort vessels change calculation. Coast Guard cutters are lightly armed. Venezuelan boats might have firepower to threaten patrol vessels. Navy destroyer brings overwhelming combat power that criminals cannot match. Gravely departs station at 0600 hours, heading south, maximum speed, radar searching. The intelligence provides last known position of MV Caribbean Dream. 380 nautical miles north of Venezuelan coast. Moving north at 12 knots. Slow. Predictable. Easy to intercept. But the escort boats complicate everything. What's your tactical approach to armed escort vessels? Type A for negotiate surrender. Type B for warning shots. Type L for immediate engagement. The Gravely brings sophisticated sensors. Spy 1D radar tracks targets 250-plus nautical miles. The ship locates Caribbean Dream at 14:20 hours. Radar contact, 280 miles away. Large vessel, speed 12 knots. Course north. Additional contacts nearby. Smaller vessels. 6 total. Formation around freighter. Classic escort pattern. The intelligence is confirmed. This is defended convoy moving toward American waters. Captain Rodriguez briefs his crew. This isn't standard operation. We're intercepting armed smugglers. They may resist. They may fight. We will respond with appropriate force. Our mission, stop that freighter. Seize the cargo. Protect yourselves. Execute professionally. Follow rules of engagement. Questions? No questions. The crew understands. This could turn violent. They're ready. Stay with me. The Navy's approach reveals why destroyers overwhelm criminal forces. At 16:30 hours, Gravely launches MH-60R Seahawk helicopter, armed reconnaissance. The helicopter carries door gunner with M240 machine gun, sophisticated sensors, camera systems. Mission, locate and identify all vessels, assess threat, provide tactical picture before surface engagement. The Seahawk reaches convoy at 16:55 hours, circles at 2,000 feet, photographs everything. The Caribbean Dream is rust bucket cargo ship. Old, poorly maintained, flying Panamanian flag. 6 escort boats are go-fast vessels, 35-40 feet long, multiple outboard engines, men visible on deck, weapons confirmed, AK-47 rifles, what appears to be RPG-7 launcher, possibly PKM machine gun. These are heavily armed criminals prepared for combat. The helicopter pilot radios Gravely. Captain, 6 armed escort vessels confirmed. Small arms, crew-served weapons, possible rocket-propelled grenades. They're positioned defensively around freighter. This is organized military-style operation. Rodriguez acknowledges. He expected this. Intelligence was accurate. Now he needs to decide how to engage without unnecessary casualties while accomplishing mission objectives. The Gravely closes to 20 nautical miles, still outside visual range, but well within weapon range. The destroyer carries Harpoon anti-ship missiles, 5-inch gun, Tomahawk cruise missiles, close-in weapon systems. Against go-fast boats? Massive overkill. But overwhelming force prevents resistance. Shows criminals they cannot win. Encourages surrender without fighting. At 17:45 hours, Rodriguez attempts radio contact, broadcasting on all maritime frequencies, Spanish and English. Vessel Caribbean Dream. This is United States Navy warship. You are suspected of drug trafficking. Stop your engines immediately. Prepare for boarding. Escort vessels. Lay down your weapons. Surrender peacefully. Resistance will be met with deadly force. No response. The freighter maintains course, maintains speed. Escort boats maintain formation. They're not acknowledging, not complying. They're gambling that Navy won't actually shoot, that this is bluff. They're betting wrong. Navy wire has covered narco operations before, but armed convoy escort represents unprecedented criminal audacity, where trafficking meets military tactics, the weapons, the organization, the implications. Rodriguez orders warning shot. The Gravely's 5-inch Mk-45 gun rotates, elevates. Fire control solution calculated. Target point, 500 yards ahead of Caribbean Dream's bow. The gun fires. Boom. The 5-inch shell arcs through sky. Splashes ocean exactly where aimed. Water column 50 feet high. Impossible to miss. Message delivered. We can hit what we aim at. Next shot hits ship if you don't comply. The convoy reaction is unexpected. Escort boats accelerate, spreading out, creating wider perimeter around freighter. The go-fasts are fast. 60-plus knots. They're maneuvering aggressively. This isn't surrender. This is defensive positioning. They're preparing to resist, to fight. These criminals are committed to protecting their billion-dollar cargo. If you believe overwhelming force prevents criminal violence, type Navy wire in the comments. Rodriguez coordinates with JIATF South, requests additional assets, Coast Guard support, maritime patrol aircraft. He's facing 6 armed boats plus freighter. The destroyer can handle it, but additional units provide options, reduce risk, increase chance of capturing all vessels without losses. Coast Guard cutter forward responds. National Security Cutter, 418 feet, heavily armed. ETA 2 hours. An HC-130J Hercules long-range surveillance aircraft from Coast Guard Air Station Clearwater already overhead. Monitoring, photographing, providing overwatch. P-8A Poseidon from Navy Patrol Squadron joins at 1820 hours. Multiple aircraft, multiple ships. This is coordinated operation overwhelming criminal forces. At 1835 hours, Gravely closes to 10 nautical miles. Visual contact. The Caribbean Dream is visible. Rusty hull, faded paint, deck cargo containers, escort boats circling. This is the target. Rodriguez maneuvers to block the convoy's northward course, positioning destroyer directly in their path. They must stop, or turn, or attempt to run around Navy warship. None of these options end well for smugglers. The freighter maintains course, heading directly toward Gravely. Distance closing, 5 miles, then 3 miles. The escort boats maintain defensive screen. They're committed. They're not stopping. This is game of chicken between billion-dollar cocaine shipment and $1.8 billion destroyer. Only one outcome is possible. At 2 miles, one escort boat breaks formation. Accelerates toward Gravely. High speed. Erratic course. On deck, men visible with weapons. This is either attack run or desperate intimidation. Either way, it's hostile action. Rodriguez authorizes defensive engagement. Weapons free on approaching hostile vessel. What would you have done when escort boat charged the destroyer? Comment your tactical response below. The Gravely's forward 25mm Mk-38 chain gun engages. Stabilized mount, computer targeting. The gun tracks speeding boat. Fires. Boom, boom, boom. Rapid fire. 25mm high explosive rounds. Each shell like small grenade. The escort boat takes multiple hits. Hull shredded. Engines exploding. Fuel fire. Men jumping overboard. The vessel breaks apart. Sinks in under 30 seconds. Debris field. Survivors in water. The remaining 5 escort boats immediately cease aggressive maneuvering. They slow. Stop. Men on decks throw weapons overboard. AK-47s splash into ocean. RPG launcher jettisoned. Hands go up. Surrender. Unanimous surrender. The destruction of one boat demonstrated futility of resistance. Navy destroyer with modern weapon systems versus go-fast boats? Not even close. Criminal bravado collapses when facing actual military firepower. The Caribbean Dream also stops. Engines shut down. Dead in water. Crew visible on deck. Hands raised. White cloth waving. Surrender signal. The entire convoy gives up. Mission accomplished without further combat. 1 boat destroyed. 5 captured. Freighter seized. All because criminals underestimated Navy resolve and capability. Gravely launches rigid hull inflatable boats. Armed boarding teams. Navy sailors and Coast Guard law enforcement detachment. They approach escort boats first. Secure survivors from sunk vessel. 15 men in water. All recovered. No casualties. Burns. Injuries. But alive. Medical treatment provided. Then restraints. Detention. Federal charges pending. The 5 intact escort boats get boarded simultaneously. Total crew, 38 Venezuelan nationals. Ages 19 to 54. All armed. All involved in cocaine transportation. All facing serious federal charges. Weapons seized include 23 AK-47 rifles, 4 PKM machine guns, 2 RPG-7 launchers with 6 rockets, and various pistols and knives. This is military-grade arsenal operated by criminal organization. Superior firepower, decisive action, Navy wire. The Caribbean Dream boarding reveals the motherlode. Containers filled with cocaine, vacuum-sealed packages, waterproof wrapping, professional packaging. The boarding team counts packages, weighs samples, estimates total, 15,200 kilograms. That's 33,500 pounds. Pure cocaine, 95% plus purity. Pharmaceutical grade. Street value after distribution, $1.2 billion. This is the largest maritime cocaine seizure in 5 years and represents complete network disruption. The freighter's crew includes 22 personnel, all Venezuelan. Captain claims ignorance. Says he thought containers held legitimate cargo. Complete lie. The cocaine is everywhere. Impossible to miss. He knew. They all knew. They're all culpable. All face conspiracy charges. Possession with intent to distribute. International drug trafficking. Operating vessel in furtherance of continuing criminal enterprise. The charges stack up fast. Coast Guard Cutter Forward arrives at 2015 hours. She assists with evidence collection, towing disabled escort boats, securing the freighter. The Caribbean Dream gets towed toward Key West. Slow transit. 2-day journey. The escort boats get towed separately. Coast Guard facilities will process everything. Evidence preservation, forensic examination, every surface fingerprinted, every item documented. The tactical analysis focuses on escort boat tactics. This represents evolution in trafficking. Previously, smugglers used speed and stealth. Avoid detection. Run if discovered. This convoy tried different approach. Use force. Protect cargo with armed vessels. Fight off interdiction. The strategy failed because criminals underestimated military response. Navy destroyer brings overwhelming combat power that armed boats cannot match. The weapons analysis shows criminal sophistication. AK-47s are standard. PKM machine guns are concerning. Soviet-designed squad automatic weapons. 7.62mm ammunition. Rate of fire 650 rounds per minute. Effective range 800 meters. These can damage ships, kill personnel. RPG-7 launchers are even more dangerous. Anti-tank weapons. can penetrate ship hulls, can kill crews. These criminals had capability to seriously threaten Coast Guard cutters with anti-armor weapons. But against Navy destroyer? Ineffective. The Gravely has armor, redundant systems, damage control capabilities. An RPG hit might damage sensors, might kill exposed personnel, but it won't sink destroyer, won't disable combat systems. The ship would return fire with 5-inch gun, 25mm chain gun, 50 caliber machine guns, phalanx CIWS if necessary. The firepower differential is overwhelming and demonstrates why military vessels dominate criminal forces. Which naval asset is most effective for drug interdiction? Type A for destroyers, Type B for patrol cutters, Type C for aircraft. The intelligence exploitation begins immediately. The Caribbean Dream's computers get seized, navigation logs, communication records, financial documents, email archives. Every byte of data gets copied, analyzed. This reveals trafficking network, supply sources, distribution channels, money laundering, customer lists. Each data point enables follow-up investigations. The escort boat crews get interrogated. Some cooperate, provide information. They identify cartel leadership, describe organizational structure, explain communication methods, money flows, logistics. Each interview adds intelligence, builds comprehensive picture of how this convoy operation was planned and executed by transnational criminal organizations. Within 1 week, the expanded investigation yields results. 18 additional arrests, across 4 countries: Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico, United States. The arrests include high-level cartel operators, the convoy planners, the weapons suppliers, the freighter owner, money launderers, distribution coordinators. The entire network gets rolled up based on intelligence from Caribbean Dream seizure. The financial investigation is equally productive. Prosecutors trace $47 million in cartel assets, bank accounts, real estate, businesses, vehicles. Everything gets frozen, then forfeited, turned over to government. The money funds continued law enforcement, victim compensation, international drug control programs. The cartels lose their investment and operational funds. The freighter gets condemned through civil forfeiture. The Caribbean Dream becomes U.S. government property, valued at $4 million, will be auctioned. Proceeds fund law enforcement. The escort boats also forfeited. Much less valuable, maybe $200,000 total. But principle matters. Crime doesn't pay. Assets get seized. Organizations get dismantled through financial pressure. The criminal prosecutions move forward. All 75 arrested individuals face federal charges, most in United States, some in foreign countries. Extradition requests filed. The 15 survivors from destroyed escort boat face additional charges: assault on federal officers, attempted attack on U.S. warship. These charges carry life sentences on top of drug trafficking penalties. The trials begin 4 months after seizure. Evidence is overwhelming. Caught in the act. Weapons seized. Cocaine documented. Video footage from Gravely shows entire engagement. Helicopter footage confirms armed escort. No defense strategy can overcome this evidence. Most defendants plead guilty. Sentences range from 20 years to life without parole. The escort boat crew from vessel that attacked Gravely get maximum sentences, life without possibility of parole. They charged Navy warship, fired weapons, created situation requiring lethal response. Judge cites extreme danger to federal personnel, unprecedented aggression. These defendants demonstrated willingness to fight U.S. military forces. They deserve maximum penalty as deterrent to future violence. Navy wire tracks long-term effects. The convoy escort strategy is abandoned by cartels. Too expensive, too risky, too ineffective. Navies have overwhelming firepower advantage. Criminal organizations cannot compete. They return to traditional methods: fast boats, semi-submersibles, individual runs, lower success rates, but lower losses per attempt. The cost-benefit analysis favors distributed operations over concentrated defended convoys. This represents strategic victory beyond tactical success. The Caribbean Dream interdiction didn't just seize cocaine, it changed cartel behavior, forced abandonment of armed escort concept, demonstrated futility of fighting U.S. military forces. These effects persist. Reduce trafficking, degrade criminal organizations, make smuggling more expensive and less reliable over sustained periods. The quiz answer: Venezuelan cartel organized armed convoy to protect freighter MV Caribbean Dream, carrying 15,200 kilograms cocaine worth $1.2 billion. 6 escort boats armed with AK-47s, PKM machine guns, and RPG-7 launchers. USS Gravely intercepted convoy. 1 escort boat attacked destroyer. Navy engaged with 25mm chain gun. Boat destroyed in 30 seconds. Remaining escorts and freighter surrendered. 75 total arrests. 18 additional arrests from intelligence exploitation. Complete network dismantled. Largest maritime cocaine seizure in 5 years, demonstrating overwhelming Navy superiority against criminal forces. 3 questions for you. Should Navy destroyers be regularly assigned to drug interdiction? Can criminal organizations ever successfully resist military forces? What happens when cartels acquire more sophisticated weapons like anti-ship missiles? Subscribe to Navy Wire, where elite naval operations meet transnational crime fighting. We cover the interdictions, the tactics, the people, the strategic implications of naval power against criminal organizations. Hit subscribe, enable notifications. Next episode reveals Coast Guard special operations that most people never see. This is Navy Wire, superior